welcome in to your weekly card class from Maine. I'm Julie Max, I'm the Maine Stamper, and I am here for your Monday card class. I like to come on Monday around 8, and I'm usually a couple minutes late. Not by design. I design beautiful cards. I do not design a well-timed schedule. So it is actually 8:04 if you're joining me live. You're going to see that it's a little bit after 8, even though I say I'm going to be live at 8. I'm not one to come on and chit-chat for 10 minutes while I wait for everybody to jump on. I wait for like 1 or 2 people to say hi, and Jess just did it. Hi, Jess. Thanks for letting me know we're good. I like to know that you can hear and see me, and then I jump right in because I don't want to waste your time. I'm super busy, and I know that you guys are too. So thanks for joining me for tonight's class. I'm so excited about this one. And I've got a few announcements as well. So we're going to just go over a couple of things before we jump into the class. So hi Donna, I know you're excited about this one. This is the Wildflower Designs Bundle. And it's been a bundle that has been on back order or unorderable at least twice since it debuted in May in the annual catalog. So this one's from the annual catalog. And this is a fun fact. This is the last bundle in the annual catalog that I'm going to cover for a Monday card class for probably quite some time. Next week, there will not be an actual card class with an offer. I'm going to go over the beautiful cards that we're going to make at my stamp camp on this coming Saturday, the 24th. So we're going to be gathering together. I have stampers coming from Vermont, Ohio, and New York. So don't tell me you can't make it when you live in Maine, right? So I have some wonderful ladies that are coming out of state. I am so excited to be able to stamp with them. So we're going to have a really fun time. We're going to make some fabulous projects. I have been sharing some sneak peeks. Yesterday I shared some sneak peeks of some items that may be, hi Lexi, Lexi's coming to camp. These items may be part of your swag bag. They might be part of your games, because we play games at my stamp camps. We don't just stamp, we play games for prizes. It's a big deal. It's a lot of fun. Now, if you are interested in my next stamp camp, I'm already actually, it's in the books. It's October 24th, or is it 26th? It's the last Saturday in October, and it's a Christmas stamp camp. So Christmas is my absolute favorite. So I'm going to go nuts over that one. Let's make it the 26th. October 26th, put that in your books because... Hi Corey, it's good to see you here. October 26th is going to be my Christmas stamp camp. It's going to be the Christmas one is my favorite. It's going to be the best one of the year. So if you can make it to Maine for October 26th, make sure you set that aside. All right, so tonight we're doing the Wildflower Designs Bundle. So again, if you have those $5 coupons that you need to redeem because you ordered in July and you have them to spend in August, you have roughly, what are we looking at, 2 weeks? I changed my calendar to October, and it's really not that far into the... Yeah, you got 2 weeks. So you can spend them on this week's class, or next week I am going to have, I'm calling it like an email special. So you're still going to get something for ordering with me next week, but there's not going to be card kits involved. It's going to be something a little bit different. So if you really want the card kits, this is your week to jump on and get your order in. Use those $5 coupons, but make sure that your order equals $40 when you check out. After your coupons have been applied, you'll get the 4 card kits in the mail for free, and you'll get the PDF recipes and all the good stuff. Hi Linda, good to see you. She's my mother-in-law, by the way. Hi Mom. And then also we have yes, so you can do that. And then there is the designer series paper is still on sale for a couple more weeks, 15% off. So make sure you're getting your papers. And I forgot what else. Now I'm distracted. So we're going to just like probably pop over to my workspace now. So Wildflower Blossoms, no, make that designs. It was out of stocks a couple of times. So if it is in stock, so if you're interested, grab it. It's in the annual catalog. So really it's going to be available through at least April of 2025. That's a long way just out. And I think earlier I started talking about the fact that I'm almost done with bundles in the annual catalog, because when I come back in September, we're going to be into the new fall mini. And that's going to kind of carry us through the end of the year. And then in January, we're going to have a spring mini. So the annual kind of goes by the wayside at about this time of the year for most demonstrators and customers as well, because then you're kind of like, you're shopping the latest and greatest. And I don't blame you. I like to shop the latest and greatest too. All right, so now that I've chit-chatted for a couple minutes and I have some friends hanging out, we're going to transition over to my workspace. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this Wildflower Design Bundle, which I can't seem to name properly. And while you guys are jumping on, make sure you're saying hi, because I love to know who's hanging out with me. I have a lot of people that watch and I never even know who you are. So thanks for hanging out. This is Wildflower Designs. This is the Cling stamp set. It's got only 3 sentiments, but they're really beautiful ones. They're all in cursive, so scripty is nice. sending happy thoughts. You've been on my mind, and thank you. So there's no birthday greeting in here. I mean, I think every birthday, there's like a birthday greeting for almost every stamp set, right? So if you wanted to do a birthday card, just sub in another one. But you've got some really great thinking of you sentiments. You've got some really basic, teeny tiny, I'm calling these are smaller flowers. They're really not that big. And did you know that the case is typically the same size as your stamp? So unless it's marked that it's going to be a little bit smaller. So these are like within a 2-inch stature for the most part. So they're smaller stamps. Now, of course, you can substitute in larger stamps. I'm sure you have plenty of stamps with flowers. If you think these are small and you're like, I don't know, but you like the sentiments, don't be worried about tiny flowers. They have their place too. These are actually the perfect size for the inside of your card or your envelope as well. So dress up those naked envelopes, send them on out. Now, the best thing about this bundle, I'm going to have to say, is the dies. And that's because you've got 3 nesting dies. So this is one, big one. You've got the ruffly one right here, 2, and they all, as you can see, they nest, and then 3. So there's lots of ways to use them. We're going to talk about all the ways to use them. Nesting dies are like my favorite dies. And then these other 4 dies that are in the set are going to die cut your flowers. So it's bundled price is, let me see, what is the bundled price? I didn't look this up ahead of time. Wildflower Designs Bundles, $47.50. So you can get the whole suite if you want. I've used Dashing Designs embossing folder previously. I'm not actually using it tonight. These embellishments are currently unavailable. So if you wanted to order the suite, you wouldn't be able to because this is unavailable, but you can a la carte. You can get the bundle, the embossing folder, and the paper 15% off. This is really great paper. It's called Wildly Flowering, and we're going to be using this paper on all 4 cards. So you're going to see a variety of this tonight. It is beautiful paper. It is based on the in colors from last year. So it's kind of interesting. We've got Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat, Boho Blue. That's pretty much it. There's really no copper or pebbled in here. So it's those 3 colors, that pink, yellow. We're going to call it pink, yellow, and blue. In fact, let's check out my ink pads right here. These cards are going to go together so nicely. You've got Boho Blue, Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat, and we're putting Early Espresso in everything. This is going to be our little black dress tonight. Early Espresso is going to be in every card, and I'm just using these 4 ink pads for all 4 cards, not on every one of them, but all together. And I'm using, this is something different. You might be like, wait a minute, Julie, where's your Stampin' Blends? You love them so much. And I do. But the Stampin' Right markers work really well with our ink pads because the ink is the same. So I'm actually using Bubble Bath, Boho Blue, and Old Olive to do a little bit of small coloring. So that's it for the colors tonight. That's our ink. This whole suite is found on page 40 and 41 of your annual catalog. So you can check that out. You can check for some ideas online as well. So the class tonight, $40 order is going to get you the 4 card kits. These are the card kits. So remember how I said that little black dress is Early Espresso? It's pretty much in every one of these envelopes. I hope you can kind of see. We have a little bit of Wild Wheat here. We've got some Boho Blue. And we've got some Bubble Bath with our mauve. And then we've got Espresso with our mauve. This one here is kind of our more neutral card. I love this piece of designer paper. So you're getting the same pack of designer paper throughout, and you're getting some embossed pieces, and then everything else in these card kits, you're going to be using these dies. So you're going to be in charge of die cutting and doing all your stamping. Now, if you don't have this bundle, you don't want this bundle, but you still want the card kits, substitute in any nesting dies because they're going to work on these card kits. You can use the Countryside Inn dies, you can use your Stylish Shapes, you can use your Nested Essentials. Pick some dies that nest because you can do the same concept and idea, and then pick something with some little flowers. Maybe you're punching flowers instead of die cutting. When you bump your order up to 50, I'm giving you the embellishment that I'm going to use tonight, and these are the here they are, right here, Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels. So these are the kind of shiny pearls. There's a little bit of iridescent in them. There's 2 sizes. There's large and small. It probably is really hard to see with my light on them. I've used them quite a bit. Of course, you're getting a full pack. You're not getting a partial pack. This is not our trash or treasure game that we play at Stamp Camp. So everybody that's been to my Stamp Camps and knows what I'm talking about when I say trash or treasure, you're getting treasure, not trash. Okay. So the host code here this week is H6AXV437. This offer is good through Friday, August 23rd. So we're going to be talking about these cards all week. Now, I also want to point out that I have used every stamp in this stamp set. So they're all up on blocks. It is red rubber, so we've got the cling stamp set. Again, all the flowers, the little splotchy, which I love, 3 sentiments. So we have to do a repeater on one of our sentiments because we have 4 card kits. And we're going to start with this one right here. So I'm just going to check back here real quick. We have some... Hi, Lynn, catching me from Southern New Jersey. Lori's here. Donna's here. Carrie from Arkansas. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Michelle and Melissa. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys are hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging out. We're going to look at our first card now. So this is really exciting. This is our very first card. And again, brown, the early espresso, makes a debut and everything. I feel like this is the time of year where fall is approaching really quickly, right? It's getting darker earlier. So we're kind of feeling the feels. I started playing Christmas music at work today. That's the feels I'm feeling, right? So I'm going there. You know, Christmas is always my jam. But these colors are definitely more fall-like. And of course brown, right? So we're kind of going in that direction. So this is our first card. We're using an early espresso card base. We've got that beautiful paper. And these are all the things that you're getting in your kit. Now again, I did mention that you get to die cut everything, but you are going to get papers to die cut. You're also going to get this really sweet embossed piece. This is the eyelet embossing folder in Moody Mauve. So this comes to you just like this. So the reality is you're going to put together a really cute card kit, and you're going to be able to die cut some things, and you're going to be able to, you know, do your own thing at home if you want to. These are going to these are the pieces you're going to die cut and stamp on. So we're going to set those aside for right now. And we're just going to put together the bones. So sometimes I like to just start with what's in the kit. What are we going to do with it? Just in case you're sitting there pondering the stamps in your life and you're like, you know what? I have something that I could use right now that would be perfect. And I know a couple of you guys already have this bundle. I was so excited to hear that actually, because I said, hey, guess what? You can use these ideas and you can jump right in, which is even more fabulous. So Donna wants to come to October Stamp Camp. That's awesome, Donna. Definitely come. It's so much fun. We have such a good time. All right, so this is just going to be really kind of simple adhesion here, right? Glue of your choice. I could have darkened down the corners of this one, but I didn't. I'm not taking the time to do much sponging tonight. So these are kind of a quick and easier cards that we're making because I'm super busy. I am so busy right now getting ready for that August camp that just time is getting away from me. So the Designer Series paper, blue on one side, but then we've got this really pretty pattern. Now I'm going to put this on here. And I see that this is not the right size. What did I cut wrong? I cut this too big. That is what I did. And I've already glued it down. So we're just going to we're going to continue because we're Stampy Crafters that way. I'm going to like mat this. I'm going to mat this. Now, I will make notes of this and make sure that I send you the card kit that is more correct, because I wanted this to be a little bit smaller and I wanted the white here to be a little bit bigger. So you can see the difference already, right? So when you go down 1/4 inch in your matting, what a wild difference, because this one is more traditional. This one's a little bit smaller, so it brings everything in and it makes it a little bit cozier. So I really wanted that cozy look. But we're going to continue. We're going to just pretend that everything is good. You know, there's really no error. If no one ever saw my original card, this one that I'm making right now that I consider like incorrect in measurements, it could be perfectly fine. So there we go. We're going to put this little piece of espresso across here. I put it right on the Designer Series paper. Now when you get your Designer Series paper at home, not only will it fit the mat properly, but it will also be, there's different sections of it, as you can see. I left the white here because I like the white look here, so I really wanted to be able to see that. Now we're going to do our fancy die cutting. So this is where you take your card kit and you go whichever direction you want to go. But you do have pieces here that you're going to use your dies for. And I'm going to explain how these are going to work. So you're going to take this first die here, which has the scallop. This is the medium die. And you're going to die cut one in Moody Mauve. You're going to die cut another one in white. And you're going to die cut the small one right here in this white one. So this has like a stitching surround. And some of these I've cut. So I've cut a whole bunch of things ahead tonight so we wouldn't be die cutting everything together. So this is this one right here. So I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to move this paper off to the side. But I am going to die cut one with you because I want you to have the fun surprise effect that I had the first time I used these. Now if you've used these already, you probably know where I'm going with this. But this might be the only die cutting we're actually going to do during the class tonight, because I did try to get everything prepped ahead. So we're taking that really sweet scallop die and we're putting it on our paper. I've got my die cut machine all set up with the right plates, and you might notice that I'm sending it into the rollers here at just a slight angle, so that the so it kind of tiptoes in. It doesn't get like a blunt edge, and then you don't get that big boingy, poppy, loud sound on the back end when it comes out. So you're just being a little bit more gentle with your equipment, right? I mean, you want this to last a long time. So here's your scrap. You can throw that out. Fancy little die right here. I'm gonna set that aside. And then this is what we've just die cut. We have die cut 2 pieces. So it comes apart just like this. And then, of course, if you want to use them together, you can use them together. But you can also do the mixing and the matching, right? So like, for example, you can do 2 and you're going to have a different color for the inside, or maybe a different color for the outside. So here's another example, right? So the mix and match is going to be a lot of fun. For sure. I love the mix and match. And of course, you could mix and match designer series paper too. Don't just think about cardstock when you're die cutting your second one. You can do designer series paper. So I'm going to set those aside, move my plates as well. And we're going to get back to our card here. So we're going to pretend, we're still pretending, we're going to pretend this one's all done. So if this one was all done, I would have this pink one right here. I'm going through my pile. I'm hoping I still have another. Did I not do that? I might have to do that one too. I think I do. I tried to do this ahead and I didn't quite get them all completed. So we have to do this one more time. I hope you enjoyed it the first time, because we're going to go back through and we're going to do one more. Probably I should have done this one instead of the white one, but that's okay. We're going to do one more, back through the machine. Right there, just like that. I always try to give you a generous enough amount of paper that you're not struggling to get the edges lined up, and you're able to die cut a piece just nice, right, with a little wiggle room. All right, so here we go. We're doing it again. Now I want to, this is probably good because it kind of, this frame sometimes sticks a little bit into the die. So if you look at this and you don't have the other piece, just flip your die over. It's probably just stuck in there and needs a little help getting out, but it's not super sticky. Not like some of our dies where you really need like big equipment to pull them back out. All right, so back to our card, back to our regularly scheduled card. We're going to use the white surround that I die cut the first time, right? So this is going to come onto our card. We're going to use the pink one. So you're die cutting 2 of these. The pink one's going to go right in here. And then we're going to, the white one that we pretended we die cut, this one's going to go right here. And this is basically our card, right? So we're going to do some stamping next. So let's set these aside. And we're going to do some brown early espresso, because this is our theme today, right? I've got You've Been on My Mind. And then in the Moody Mauve, we're going to do our little flowers. Now it might be hard to see them here. I did stamp them off, so they're very light here with the sentiment over the top. So let me bring in a scrap paper, because we're going to do a little stamping off as well. So scrap paper, I kind of need the thing that I'm going to stamp on. And then let's bring in the samples so we can really see everything. So we're using this flower, we're using this flower, and then we're using this flower. So you can see they're kind of all similarly sized. The biggest one is a little bit poofier. We're not using that on this card. So just so that's kind of how that goes. All right, so in the Moody Mauve, we're going to start right here with this one that kind of looks like it could fly away. We're going to come up here, and I stamped off. So my darker ink is right here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure where my camera is. Let me look at my camera real quick. The name of the dies, Donna. These are the Wildflower Designs. So you can see, if you look in the catalog on page 40, you're going to see them. Or if you search online. So darker, much lighter. Look at that pretty light pink, right? So we've done that one. We're going to do this little guy in the center. So same thing. I'm going to stamp off and I'm going to stamp on. And I want to point out that I am trying to come all the way to the bottom of this, but be also as tall as I can into this die cut, because I want these flowers to be kind of up and into my sentiment. Okay, so we're going to do the last one right here into the mauve. So pretty, right? And then as tall as we can, just have that little stem kind of on the end. And look how cute, right? So you've got this little row right here, petite flowers. That's what we'll call these. These are petites. I'm going to put mauve away for now. I do need to do like a little bit of cleanup in between because we are using these on multiple cards tonight. So I want to make sure we're cleaned. Another good use of your scrap right after you wash is just to make sure that you've got all of the ink off of your blocks, just in case there's a little bit hanging on. You don't want to put that into the next ink pad. So just kind of use that as well to kind of gauge like, is that as clean as it could be? Okay, a little bit better. All right, now we're going to do our sentiment in early espresso. Because again, that espresso is going to be everywhere. This says, "You've been on my mind." So it's just perfect to fit in here. And I'm going to pretty much center it onto my die cut, a little crookedly, apparently. But you get the idea, right? You've been on my mind, so the flowers are right there. And I don't remember if we're using that sentiment again. I don't think that we are. So I don't have to worry about washing that one just yet. I'll do that at the end when I'm all wrapped up. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we've got these puzzle pieces to put together. So it's kind of fun, if you like puzzles, to use these nesting type of dies. We're going to just put a little bit of glue here along the outside edges. And I'm not putting it like everywhere. Hard to see on the white, but I've kind of got dots here. So we're going to glue this down first. And what I want to do is I want it to be on here so that it's kind of side to side in the white. And then I want just a little bit of the little brown, the early espresso seat belt that I put on here, my little belt right here. So you can see a little bit of this right here. On this card, it's much more apparent because it looks obviously a little bit better in size, but you can see just a little peak of that espresso right there, just kind of anchors, right? So we're going to do that, keeping in mind that everything that you see in the middle of this is going to soon be covered up with this Moody Mauve die cut. Now, remember, there's always a kind of an ugly side and a pretty side to your die cuts. The ugly side is usually just a little bit less smooth. So we're just going to fill that in so you can see where we're going with that, and then we're going to bring this in and put it on top. Now this card is simple enough that there's no dimension to it. I didn't put any dimensionals on it. You certainly could if you wanted to, but I did not. And we're just kind of layering these in here so you get those peaks of color. We're getting the matting with our dies, which is really fantastic. So now this turned into one of these which one do you like better kind of a cards, actually, because my original card has much more white on the outside, but maybe you like this one that has more pink. So I need you to voice your opinions. Tell me if my mistake paid off and you love it. I'm going to bring in the pearls here, and we're just going to put a few pearls on here in kind of a triangular fashion. I try to make little triangles with 3 of my embellishments. So you can see here my triangle goes this way and then down. So it's kind of an obtuse longish triangle. I'm going to call it longish triangle. So there we go. Card number 1. We got the jitters out of the way. I think we're going to successfully complete the other 3 cards, but I would love to know, which one do you prefer? The one with more white or the one with more pink? Because they're both really pretty. So I'm kind of glad. Like, actually, sometimes when I mess up, it's kind of a good thing, because then I can like, which one do I like better? Lexi likes more pink. You guys are liking the pinks. That is so awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying the pinks. Oh my goodness, that is just too funny. I did not intend to do that. Now, your card kits at home, I'm going to tell you, the card kits at home will have more of this option right here. Although then I'm like, well, I could send you more cardstock. You could trim it if you wanted to. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to just jump back in here to the catalog. Donna asked about the Wildflower Designs dies is 163333. They're $31. So if you just want the dies, Donna, which is really a smart way to go. If you just want the dies, you can get those for $31. And then, of course, if you bundle, you save 10%, you get the stamp set. But these dies go with everything. So you really don't, I mean, I'm not trying to talk you out of stamps, but if you don't need the stamp set, the dies, definitely the dies are, I think, the biggest selling point for these cards. Okay, so we did card number 1. I'm going to take a sip, and then we're going to jump into card number 2. So let's see what we got next up. Oh my gosh, you guys, I hope you're liking pink, because we have more pink. It's like kind of a pink day. I feel like pink and brown are so pretty together. I love pink and brown. Now, this one is a little bit more of a springy pink, because it's the bubble bath, right? So it's You can see here this beautiful bubble bath is just such a light pink, but it goes so nicely, of course, with espresso. Pink and brown, can't go wrong. And we're really pulling a lot of our colors right from this great designer series paper. Here is a lot of wild wheat, and I know that's not everyone's favorite, but don't worry, we're not actually going to use wild wheat. I just wanted to show you what you're getting in this card kit and that there is some really beautiful color to it before I pop over and... Oh, Jess likes the more white. Thanks, Jess. I like that one too. All right, so this is our next card, all the pinks and pretties. Now this is a landscape. You're going to see kind of the same idea throughout our class tonight. We're taking advantage of those nesting dies, and I'm showing you different ways that you can use them, different color combinations. And here's that powder, that kind of like powder puff flower in pink. So I thought that would be kind of a good way to take care of that card. So this is landscape. I'm going to put together the bones here real quickly with you. We've got, again, espresso and your designer series paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my adhesive on here. It may look like I'm using a lot of glue, but I'm using it very thinly. So just keep in mind, if you use a thinner amount of glue, you won't get those gloppies and you won't get the warping, right? When it dries, the glue can sometimes warp. So you want to be very thin with your glue. All right, we're going to just pop this one right down flat as well. So I keep the tip of it kind of right to the, I mean, some of this almost barely doesn't even show up. So as you can kind of maybe see, it's really light in spaces because I keep the tip of my glue right down, right on top of the paper, so I don't let it glop out. I know some people are like, how can you possibly use so much glue? I love it. Okay, so here we go. This is a beautiful start to our card, a beautiful way to create from here. And we're going to add one of those fancy little belts that I just adore. These are really the half-inch-ish, I'm going to call them half-inch-ish, strips of paper that you have left over when you're cutting layers. And I save them and pop them onto cards because I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to throw them out. Secondly, it adds some interest, right? So you can see here, it's going to be on either side, but it adds a little bit of interest. So I really like these little, I like to call them belts. That's what I call them. They're belts. So when you're thinking about cards and you're making cards, you're going to be like, these are belts according to Julie. And that's just one of those Julie-isms. So there we go. All right, I had a little extra glue on there. Now we have all the same kinds of papers here where we're going to create our die cuts. So you've got two that are exactly the same. You're going to die cut the scallop die in the bubble bath and one in white. And I have, hopefully I have everything I need, and if not, we'll cut more. So coming out of white, we're just using this piece, and coming out of bubble bath, we're using the inside piece. So you can see these right here. So I'm going to layer them on here just to kind of hold their place. So that's those two pieces. Then from this piece right here, you are die cutting the smaller one right here. And that is this one. It's got a great stitching. My favorite dies have stitching. Like, I'm going to just go down in infamy by saying that. My favorite dies will have stitching. So you can see that. Now this little white paper that you have right here is your flower, and this one is your sentiment. So these are the pieces that we're going to be stamping on. And I want you to know, when you're done with this class, you're going to have extra pieces because we're die cutting two of these. So you really are going to have an extra one of these and an extra one of these. So as each card kit goes along, if you cut them with these dies, you're going to have things that you can use on future cards. I have a whole pile over here to the side, so kind of fun that way. All right, let's do our stamping. We're bringing in early espresso. Remember, lots of espresso today. And we're going to do a thank you, and we're going to do that poofy flower. And we're just keeping everything really simple, simple colors. Early espresso is a staple. It's like black almost, like, right? You need to have this in your life. If you don't have early espresso, please run, get it. You need it. Okay, early espresso. I love it. It's not as dark as black, but the ink is a lot easier to use than our Stays-On pads, I feel like. This ink is just so much more forgiving. All right, so there's our early espresso. Now, this has just minimal coloring in it, and I don't know if my camera will pick it up or not, but hopefully you can see a little bit of coloring. And we are going to actually die cut this with our die. So we have this nice little surround die right here. But this guy right here, the thank you, we're just going to snip him in kind of a flagging manner. I like to do this. Now you can keep it just the way it is if you want. I love to do that. It's super simple, super fancy, goes right on there. Piece of cake, right? So let's pretend we've die cut this, and here it is. It's die cut beautifully. So next I'm going to just color this in, and I am going to do really simple coloring with my Bubble Bath marker. And I'm going to use this kind of nubby end right here. I use the brush end. If I was going to ink up a stamp, I would use the brush end sideways, and you can ink up your rubber stamps really nicely. Will it work for photo? It does work for photopolymer, in case that was your next question. It doesn't work as well. But this little coloring end, now that they've revamped these markers, oh my gosh, so much. It's almost like using a blend, except different. Now, because we're using the early espresso ink, and then we're using the marker, and I'm just coloring in all of everything. Like if it looks like a leaf, it's going to be pink. If it looks like a flower, it's going to be pink. I didn't use any green on this, so I just went through and quickly kind of colored these in. As I started to say, the ink in the markers and the ink in the stamp pads, the ink pads, are the same exact ink. You can refill your markers with the ink refills that you refill your stamp pads with. Now, they play nicely together, so you can do the markers over top of this regular water-based ink, and you're not going to have any bleeding. So when you use the blends, you should use the Memento ink, because the Memento ink is an oil base, and the blends, no, let's reverse that. The blends are an oil base, and it works better with Memento without the bleeding. So there we go. Simple coloring. These are really great to have on hand. They actually come in the color family. So you're getting 10 at a time if you're getting a color family. That one happens to be from the Subtles. And that's how quick it was to just add a little bit of pink to the brown. They look really sweet together. Now we're going to glue this guy together. We're going to start with our puzzle piece, our biggest puzzle piece. So we're going to again take this white, almost doily-ish, right? These dies remind me, they're like a little bit old-fashioned, I feel like, and not completely, and not in a bad way, but kind of like that doily feel to it, right? It's really elegant and sweet, and that's why I thought the pearls would be perfect to use as embellishments for this card, because, you know, pearls are kind of more of an old-fashioned thing too, right? So here we go. I have lined this up on my card base, and very specifically, I've lined up the scallop here, right across my little belt. So the belts also, besides being a way to use your scrap paper and a cute accent on your card, they also help to anchor, in case you have a problem doing things in a straighter manner, because it's really easy to put things on crooked, right? But if you have a piece of cardstock that goes from side to side, then this should be straight across. And then you can kind of line up this next piece the same way. So that's kind of a method to some of my madness there. Those little belts, they kind of act like little anchors as well. So I'm just going to glue in this Bubble Bath die cut piece that we die cut earlier. It looks like there's a little piece of something on there, but that's okay, because really it's going to get covered anyway. I forgot we have one more thing to do in the espresso. This cute little accent piece, this little splotchy piece right here. I'm going to lift this up real quick, see if my camera will allow you to see. I don't know if it will focus, but over here I've done some stamping, and here I have not. So we're going to use brown on brown, so tone on tone, right? And I'm just going to add this in a few spots, and I'm just going to keep going. So wherever you want to throw some in, doesn't matter if you're going to go over top of it or whatever, you're just adding some in. This is like fun stamping, right? So that is just an assortment of brown. It kind of gives this this piece a little bit of texture, I think, as well, because it's got that kind of look to it. So we are once again looking for up. This is obviously the back side, a little bit rougher. We're going to just put this on here right in the middle. Okay, beautiful. And then we're going to bring in some dimension. So we're going to start popping some things up here. And I got out a new pack of dimensionals, and I don't know, something small like this. I put this in my case earlier, and I thought next time I pull my case out, I'm going to be like, oh, a new pack of dimensionals. It's like all those back to school supplies, right? How you just love everything because it's new. And we're going to pop this guy up here, right about here. It's going in the corner. Now notice I didn't put anything on the stem. He's just popped up here in the flower area, which is perfectly fine. And then we're going to be covering part of that with our sentiment piece anyway, so it's not a big deal. So the thank you is getting 2 dimensionals on the back. We're gonna Put this on the right side up. Right side up would be nice, right? We're gonna just kind of, you figure out where it's gonna be best to put this on. So as you're looking at your project, can kind of come across a little bit over the flower, kind of helps to anchor that stem down, comes across this way. Look at how cute that is, right? We do have to add some bling. So we're gonna bring in our pretty pearls if I can find them. And here we go. I'm using kind of a combination of large and small. It's best to take the cap off of your putty end before you try to pick up a pearl. And we're doing 2 right there, and then we're gonna do another small one right over here. So again, triangles. So I got the 3 kind of coming into that long obtuse triangle. It's that artistic rule of 3, right? And then the triangle just kind of sets up your card in a really eye-pleasing manner. So I hope this is eye-pleasing too. I think this card is really pretty. So another pink card. We've used the brown with the pink. I hope you guys are loving all the pinks. I'm just gonna check messages real quick, make sure that you can still see and hear me. And okay, looking in, checking it out. All right. Lexi says it's pretty. Thanks, Lexi. I love this one too. Lots of pinks in this class. I'm loving the pinks. But we're gonna take a little break from the pinks here. Now, as mentioned, of course, right, we're using a lot of browns today. But what if we mixed it up and just went a little bit blue? Now, I know I have some fans out there that are loving the blues. And the beautiful colors right here. This is boho. So we've got the cute crochet embossed piece here. So we got some browns, we got some blues, whites, right? So this is going to be another card featuring brown, but also featuring some really pretty blue as well. So here is our card. I just had to grab that real quick. And this is going to be another look at our little dies. And we're going to be using the ginormous one right now. So let me grab this back out as I layer them back into my magnet sheet. So this is the biggest one that comes in the set. And I wanted you to kind of have a scope. But however, this isn't all of it. So let me just show you real quick. This is a big one. This one would work really good in landscape cards, but I wanted to try to work it into a portrait. You're getting a really big piece of brown. You're going to see here, this is going to fit on here. And after you die cut it, it comes apart in 2 pieces. Remember how the blue ones came apart in 2 pieces, right? So we had the boho, because we're going to need a boho. We're going to need a white one. So we've got all that. We also have the brown, and the brown comes apart in 2 pieces too. So when you die cut it, it's going to look like this. It's going to have a thinner layer with stitching. I love the fact that this has stitching on top and bottom. And then you have another layer right here. This is the layer that I've used on my card front, also with stitching. But if you wanted to use them together, and again, changing colors, changing patterns, but then it's like triple stitched all the way around the edges. I think it's really fantastic. I chose to not use this on my card. Now you certainly could, because it would still fit. It just added a lot of brown. You can see there's like more brown here if I add this in, so I did not add it. I set it aside for another project. So we're going to die cut this biggest one here, and you're going to save this middle piece, save the outer one for another project. Unless you want to use it on your card, that's perfectly fine. You're getting a blue one where you're going to die cut the scallop die, just like we've been doing all along. And you're going to get this. You're going to keep the scallop on this one. So this blue one will be set aside for another project. And then you're going to have this white paper where you're going to die cut this smallest one, which we are using the most. This is probably, I feel like I've used this on every card tonight. So those are the 3 that we're going to be using. So you can kind of see there, the brown, the espresso, and the boho are so pretty together as well. Absolutely love them. We have a sentiment piece. We have our designer series paper. We have our crochet pattern piece. Really cute. You can look for embossed or debossed when you put this on your card front. So you get those all done up for you. You don't have to take time to dig through your embossing folders and find one in your kit. You just go. And there's no up or down to this one either. You can just choose whichever way you want it to go onto your card front. Sometimes I'm going to flip it over and just kind of rub from the back, making sure you're rubbing it onto a clean surface, right? Don't let there be ink there. You're going to pick it up and this white will not be quite as white. But that just helps to stick down all those little corners. Now with the designer series paper, this is actually a square. And I love the flowers, but you can also use this side if you really wanted to go brown and blue, right? So you could, in theory, if you wanted to. I feel like it's really brown. Like, I'm really blue, and I'm looking at this right now and thinking maybe I'm gonna try it, because you know I am. If you've watched me before, I like to change it up. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes not, but I think I will. I think I will in this instance. I really love this. I would recommend, if you have the white and you want to use the white, choose the outside that you want to see. So for example, I would probably keep the white here because the brown is gonna cover up this corner right here, right? So you would just see the white surround here, which is really pretty. But we're gonna try living on the edge. We did it earlier, we're gonna do it again. I don't know. I think this is the last card I'm gonna change up though, so yes. Okay, good. I'm looking at the orientation here. I'm like, yes, this does work. Again, this is a square, and so that way it will work in any direction that you want to go here. And we're just gonna kind of mat this on the left, top, and right. So we're getting that little bit of matting in there. And then we're gonna glue this big guy down. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about where I placed it on my card and why. So I hope you can see over here, we have that white matting, but we're actually going to cover it with the edge right here. And we're going to take advantage of this little corner that's right here on our designer series paper, and this corner that's right here on our die cut piece. So I want to make sure, if I put it up too high, this would stick out and it would look kind of odd. So I want to make sure it's coming down far enough so that this corner covers up this corner, but I'm also coming over to the edge of the white as well. So I've pushed this off to the side, just like that. So it's off to the side, kind of interrupts that white border, and then I've covered that little piece of designer series paper, and it works really, really nicely. Now, of course, if you're going to use this larger piece, you're going to need to shove over here a little bit and make room for this big guy on here too. But you can see how much more brown it would take up. And there's a limit, right? We don't want it to be too brown. I mean, we're enjoying our browns today, but you know, in limits, right? Maybe if I had done the opposite and done the blue in the larger die, brown in a smaller die, maybe that would have worked. So there's a little bit of adhesive here on my little ruffle piece. This is just going to come down right here on top, centering it all around. And we're not using the form-fitting piece to fit in here. So when we do this card, we're actually going to be down to the smallest size, which gives us the appearance of another layer underneath, but we're not actually putting that in. So for example, if I put this in, which you could if you wanted to, you could go like that, and then you'd have more blue, right? So there's a lot of options with this card. This whole bundle, lots of options. First option is we're going to stamp. We're going to stamp some sentiments and things. We're going boho blue and espresso. Now we're doing our flower in espresso, and here is my flower. This is my favorite flower. I love this one the most. It's definitely the prettiest. So we're going to bring this in. We're going to stamp right on here. Make sure you're looking at the pretty side. The other side is pretty ugly. We're going to go right in the center with our flower. Look how pretty. I really love, again, I love the smaller flowers here. Not something that we do all the time, right? We are going to bring in markers just like we did for our other card. This time we're using boho, and I brought in Old Olive because Old Olive worked really well kind of with the greens that were in this card. Even though I flipped it over, now I've got different designer series paper, it still works. So we're going to use the smaller end, just some quick coloring on the flowers, and this will dry a little bit lighter than what you see when you first color. So when you first color this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is really dark. Is this going to work? It looks so dark. And then after a little bit, it kind of lightened up, which was nice. Now I'm going to come in with the Old Olive, and we're going to do the leaves. And this is my kind of coloring too, because you know what? There's not a lot of it. And I actually kind of went through and I went right over top of the leaves that are here, the stem, I should say. The stem's in kind of brown. I added a little bit more green to them, and it worked out beautifully, right? So it kind of just gave us a little bit more green in there without stamping the whole thing in green. And then we're going to bring in our splotchy, which is terribly messy right now. This one has brown. This one has, oh my goodness, so much. Oh no, what did we use this on? Did we use this? We used this with mauve, I think. Now I can't remember. That was a while ago. Okay, we're coming in with boho. So we're going to add a little bit of blue here. If you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, There's a little bit of that splotchy that kind of goes all around my flower, and then this one is very white. So if you like it white, leave it so, but I do need my scrappy back because I need to stamp off. We're putting 2nd generation ink on this. So I don't want it to be dark like blue. I want it to be light, like soft, right? So we're just going to kind of accent here a little bit and just kind of stamp off. And just like that, just kind of give us a little bit of a pattern. So it's not quite as white as it used to be, but it is oh so lovely. We're going to do our sentiment while we're here. This time we're using the longest sentiment. It says sending happy thoughts. Really nice one. This would be great if you had a birthday sentiment for the inside. This could be kind of a get well card. This could just be I miss you card. It could be all kinds of things. We're going to stamp that right in the middle of this piece. And then we're going to do that cute little angle cut that helps us to look fancy without working. This is like the Rice Krispies of desserts. Delicious, but not a lot of work. Just like that. Okay, so this is ready to go. We're going to go ahead and finish this one up. And then I'm going to need your votes because I don't know. I'm not sure. There's a lot of blue going on here. I do like the white flowers. All right, this is going on flat, so we're just going to glue this right here, center it in the middle of all of these great die cuts. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pop up this sentiment on dimensionals. So pop my dimensionals back out. And something about this size, I would use 3. If I was being super generous, I would use 4, but 3 is good. 3 is good for this size. Plenty of support there with our sentiment. Now this is the conundrum, right? Because you've got a great sentiment, but maybe you don't want to cover up all of your flowers. So I went kind of low on it. So I kind of chose to go low, but leave a little bit of this V here from this this particular die cut, and then also leave a smidge of your designer series paper so it doesn't look like it's white on white here. So just leave that peekaboo piece right there in your designer series paper, and it adds so much without working, right? So you're using all of these things to your advantage. Now we're going to put some of these great embellishments on here. Again, ooh, these are going to turn out a little bit nicer here on this one, I think, because the white and the blue can look really pretty. And I'm going to put one right over here. So again, my little triangle, so you can see my obtuse triangle coming through here, keeping it kind of up high. Now, speaking of up high, I'm going to lift these up. So I need to know, we're voting again. We're voting again. Which one do you like better? The flower or the blue? The blue with blue, blue. It's really pretty though, isn't it? I don't know. Sometimes the decisions are hard. So what's fun about the card kits when you get them in the mail is that you get the recipe, so you can keep making them over and over, and then you can choose, you know, kind of which one you like. So, hi, Lori. Jess is my blue girl. I know it. I love it. I'm looking at comments here real quick. We're seeing a lot of blue. Lisa likes the white on the bottom of this card. Yes, isn't that awesome? I try to change it up so I'm not doing the same things over and over and over. So sometimes I like to bring leave the bottom kind of plain. I think I got a little bit of ink here that may look like it's going to need a help. We're going to cover up this little ink spot right here with a new embellishment, right? We all do that at home. Ink splotch, embellishment. There we go. Okay, so that's card number 3. We're doing really great. We love these card kits. We're going to go on to card number 4. This is our finale. Now this one I like to add a lot of layers. So this is going to be my heavier layer card, by the way. Also 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now this is going to be white on white, which is one of my favorite ways to start. We've got a thick white card base. We've got the Simply Zinnia embossing folder, right? So we've got emboss piece. Beautiful. Now we are using the Wild Wheat. I know it's not everyone's favorite color. Bear with me. All right, there's pink on the back. So if you really didn't want anything at all to do with yellow, this Wild Wheat color, you could work this out. It could be another pink and brown card with white. That's perfect. But I wanted to sneak a little bit in, okay? But you are also getting more layers and another piece of designer series paper. Now this one is from the color family. This is the 2325 in colors, Moody Mauve. So you can flip this around too. Choices, right? So you can see here we've got these colors, we've got this. I should probably show you the card next. Okay, Lori likes the flowers. She's guessing. She guesses she likes the flowers. Okay. Lori's got a birthday coming up. Lori, I might turn one of these cards into your birthday card, just saying. So you let me know which one you like the best. No, wait, there's no purple. I can't do that to you. All right, this is our card. This is the one with all these lovely layers. And I want you to notice that even though there's wild wheat in here, it's not a wild wheat, like it doesn't stick out horribly, right? It adds a little bit of that fall color without being like, oh my gosh, too much wild wheat. You can even see here, depending on where your paper is cut, there is pink right in this yellow paper, this kind of yellowish gold paper. So let's put our bones together real quick, and then we'll finish this one up and we'll look at all of the cards again, all these lovelies. I always like to make sure I know which way this is going to open. And here we go. We're going to just put this white on white. Here we go. I'm going to turn this over. And we're going to get that to adhere nicely. And then we're going to start working on our layers. We have lots of layers. Layers are my favorite. Stitching on the dies is my favorite. Christmas is my favorite. You guys hear me talk all about these fun things. I should give you a quiz. See how much you know about me as I talk and ramble while I work on these cards. Of course, you know I love chocolate. And that's maybe why I have so much espresso. I could just really use some more chocolate, right? This is a good week for chocolate. All right, this is going to be centered on here. You can choose which way you think these go. There's flowers and leaves that go in different manners, so there's really no right or wrong, right? It's just whatever you think is the prettiest. So we're going to go there. Now, as I put this together, I'm going to keep these little pink flowers over here to the side. So I did kind of line it up like that on purpose, but I wanted to point that out to you. I want to see the pretty pink flowers. We're putting Moody Mauve cardstock on Early Espresso. As we determined, it's really pretty. I am putting this side down because I want the stripes. I feel like it's a little bit more neutral with this busy flower pattern. So I choose the stripes, not changing that up at all. This is just going to go down on here. We're going to put this one down next. And it's going to cover up some of that paper that you may not, maybe that's not your favorite. But check it out. I got a little bit of pink right here, and I've got some pink up here and around. So I think it's really pretty. Now this white that's in your die kit, we're only using, this is the smallest die, right? The least amount of die cutting for this card. And it's going to give us one of these great little, I could find one here, right here. One of these with the stitching on the outside. This is kind of a really basic shape. This is probably the die that you would reach for the most out of all of these, because you can use this as a label, right? You're going to put your sentiment on here and it's going to be beautiful. You don't need to go, you don't need to, you could, right? You could add more, but for this card, we're letting the layers do the work. We're going to stamp thank you in Early Espresso. And when we stamp this one, I want you to keep it way over to the right. And it doesn't matter that I have ink on here because we used Early Espresso earlier. And just like that. Thank you. Now I'm not using the little splotchy. I'm keeping this one pretty simple at this point. It's going to come on here with dimensional, so I'm not putting that on yet. Oh, don't put that away, Julie. You're going to do some more flowers. So we're going to do this one. Did I stamp this in? Let me just do a double check here. Yes, I did. Okay. Espresso. We have two pieces here. Moody Mauve and Wild Wheat. So we're going to stamp this one on the Moody Mauve. Look how awesome this Early Espresso is. The details in the flowers. Just so cute. And then we're stamping this one right here on our Wild Wheat. So you have just enough room to get those on there. Look how cute. Like, I love these colors together. I think they're fantastic. We are done with espresso, but we're not done with these two colors. We still have these colors, and we have the magic, of course, of die cutting as well. So we would bring in our die cuts. We would die cut this guy. We would die cut this guy, and then when we're all done, we have this guy, and we have this guy right here. So they look a little bit different from my card, as you're going to see here. If I pop them on here, they look kind of plain to me. They need help. I think they need help. So what we're going to do, we're going to do these one at a time. Let me move my dies aside. Let me move my stamping aside, because we're going to work with these that I've already die cut. I'm bringing in Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat. Here we go. We're going to do Wild Wheat first. So I'm just going to use my dauber, and I'm just going to kind of go around the outside edges and in a little bit too. This one I stamped, oh my goodness, I stamped this horribly crooked. But then I thought, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be covering up the stem anyway. But you want to keep a little bit of that cardstock unsponged, it gives the brightness in the middle. It draws your eye down because it's bright right in the middle. So definitely don't go like super crazy. Just go along the edges and a little bit toward the inside. We're going to do the same thing here with our Moody Mauve ink sponge dauber. And these are tiny, so it's you know, you're holding them, you're getting inky fingers. I can tell you that my fingers are very inky yesterday. They're very inky again today. So again, on the outside, we're leaving that brightness in the middle, just like that. So maybe a little bit more right there, but definitely leave a bunch of the brightness right there in the middle. And it just looks so much sharper, prettier, draws your eye in, all of the good things, right? This thank you is going to go on dimensionals. I'm hoping that I don't have ink on my fingers because I'm using so much white cardstock today. I'm running the risks. For this one, I am going to be a little bit heavier on them. I'm going to put 5 dimensionals on the sentiment piece here. Hopefully we're good. Hopefully we're good. I'm going to turn this around. And this is going to come on here, and it's going to fit, hopefully you can see in my sample, it's going to fit right across the designer series paper and kind of just touch on the early espresso that's on the sides. I want to make sure that it's kind of straight, pretty straight. I think we're good. Okay, we're good. I'm calling it good. Just like that. So pretty, right? Now we're going to layer these on as well. And I'm going to keep the yellow one to the bottom so that we see more pink. Because of course we want to see more pink, right? So kind of like that, dry fit them. I recommend dry fitting. And then you can just kind of pick up an edge of it and just put a little bit of glue down. And then you don't even have to really pick that all the way up. Sometimes when I dry fit, I try to not move my item, just not too much. And you can see that I stamped something earlier, didn't like it, and stamped it again. But that's okay. No one will ever know, except for you, my friends, who are watching it live or on replay, just like that. So we're just going to add this one kind of over the top. So pretty. I feel like I got a little bit right there. So maybe a little bit of ink there. Maybe maybe one of these is going to cover this up. Oh, I love it. Embellishments always win, right? So we're going to kind of come up here now. I'm going to use a large and a small, kind of like that. Oh, you know, sometimes I flip them around and go, I'm not really sure if I like it there. We're going to come right about there. That's so much better. Oh my gosh, you guys, we did it. And I don't think we did too horribly. So here we go. This is the last card. I hope you guys are liking the simplicity. Like, I feel like these are pretty simple cards. They're very beautiful. Like, simple does not mean like ugly, right? Simple means also beautiful. So let's pull all these in. That was card number 4. I want to see which cards do you like the best, right? So tell me, this was card number 3 in case you didn't quite see all of it. We did a little flipping on the designer series paper. Card number 2, oh my gosh, I love the bubble bath. It is just so pretty. And then our first card, oh my gosh, this one also. A little bit of a difference here because I cut this wrong when I prepped for my class tonight. But these are the 4 beautiful cards, and I hope that you have fallen in love with the gorgeous dies, these wildflower, I lost the name, Wildflower Designs dies. That's like almost like a tongue twister, but it is Wildflower Designs. And I want to call it Wildly Flowering because the suite in the book is Wildly Flowering. The suite includes the designer paper, the embellishment, the embossing folder, and the bundle, right? So the suite is a big deal. You still save 10% on your bundle, but it's just one code, so you don't have to enter every code. Now remember, at the beginning, in case you missed it, I did say that the suite is unavailable because the embellishments are unavailable, but you do get 15% off the paper, so you would definitely want to order that individually anyway because you're going to save more on the paper that way. So Lori is very specific. She's like, the top left card, the best. That is awesome. Okay. The thank you card with the pretty pink bubble bath. That's so awesome. So there you go. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the color options here. I'm glad you enjoyed my random embellishment placements so that we could cover up the little ink boo-boos because it does happen. Lexi loves them all. Lori likes card number 2, the bubble bath. That's a fancy winner tonight, I think, you guys. That's awesome. So, and Elisa says she's liking these in colors. Moody Mauve is her new favorite. Wild wheat. Yeah, wild wheat is really great tucked into other colors. Black, it looks great with coppers and browns, pinks, and it also looks kind of good with the boho blue too. So enjoy these in colors, because you know, in like 6 months or so from now, the in colors, these ones are going away. So we have to enjoy them while we can. And we have a whole designer pack. The paper that I chose for this card kit tonight all comes from that same designer pack, 15% off through the end of August. Lynn, thank you for loving all of them. Jess likes card 3 because it's got the blues. I love that one too, Jess. That's awesome. All right, so if you guys have any questions on the class, continue to comment. Michelle also likes the pretty bubble bath card. I appreciate your time. Hope you had a good time hanging out with me. Again, I will be back next Monday, but it won't be a card class. We're actually going to be reviewing the cards that we're going to make at Stamp Camp on Saturday. I'm going to be talking to you about the design aspects, what we used in them, and then offer you an ordering special next week that does not include the card kit, but does include something else. So if you want card kits in August, this is your last week to get those in. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. All right, again, keep your questions here and I'll get back to you. Thanks for everybody watching on YouTube. And I guess I'm going to see some of you guys on Saturday. I'm really excited. I got to get back to work and get back prepping, because we're going to do so much awesome things. All right, everybody, I appreciate you. Until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye.